This is Kelso Sturgeon holding court at my College of Advanced Football Handicapping to discuss tonight, Thursday night's 4 football games, 1 in the NFL, 3 in the colleges, all offering certain betting edges that we can take advantage of. And I will again be releasing a 50-unit play in the colleges, a 25-unit play in the NFL on the Buffalo Bills at Cleveland game. And then there will be a 10-unit Best Bets Club play on the one of the 2 remaining college games. You know, I've had a tremendous run on Thursday night football this season. Last Thursday night, I went 3-0, winning with 2 college underdogs, including a 50-unit play on Virginia Tech, a 7-point underdog that won 17-10 at Georgia Tech. Got the money with underdog Iowa State at Tulsa in a game that bordered on a blowout, and got the cash with the San Francisco 49ers, who buried the St. Louis Rams. Now I'm coming right back this Thursday night, tonight, with exactly the same program. A 50-unit play on one of the college games, a 25-unit play on the Bills and the Browns, and then a 10-unit Best Bets Club play on one of the 2 remaining college games. I intend to win every single one of them. And once again, keep in mind, I went 3-0 last week. I'm going for my 5th consecutive big game winner. I'm 4-0 in my last 4 NFL releases on Thursday night. Thursday night used to be a dead night of the week where teams that were looking to get on television reluctantly played on Thursday night to get the exposure. That's no longer the case. We have dynamite games on Thursday night now. Last week, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech was a big game. We have UCLA at Utah tonight. That's a big game. So Thursday night football has really come around to be something very special. In the NFL, the games are not all that attractive sometimes because the NFL wants to put the Thursday night games on its network, and it doesn't dare take any good game away from the majors for a Sunday or a Monday. So we get the leftovers in the NFL. Now, thus far this week, there have been a lot of big money plays, and let me just run through them. You know, tonight on the Western Kentucky at L.A. Monroe game, the number on that game has moved from Western Kentucky -4 to Western Kentucky -7. We'll discuss that more in just a minute. UCLA, the number has moved from 4 to 5.5 and 6. On Saturday, the Louisville Temple game, the line on Louisville has moved from a -31 to a -34. On Fresno State at Idaho, the line has moved there from Fresno -24 to 26. On the Louisiana Tech at Texas El Paso game, strange move here, but it's real. The line has moved from Louisiana Tech +1.5 to a pick'em. On the Ohio State at Northwestern game, that line has moved from Ohio State to -5.5 to 7, and looks like it'll go even higher. On Sunday, the only big move made in the NFL thus far has been on the over. In the Lions-Packers game, money has moved that number from 51.5 out to 53.5. And I know that when I come back here with my report on Friday, that I'm sure that I'll have a whole lot to say about money moves in the NFL and even more money moves in the colleges for Saturday. But that's where the money has gone thus far this week. Now let's take a quick look at the Buffalo-Cleveland game. Cleveland is a 3.5-point favorite, and I think rightfully so. I'm not saying Cleveland will cover the 3.5 or that Cleveland will win. It's just the circumstances merit that number. Both these teams are 2-2. They've surprised everybody this season with their success. The Bills with a rookie quarterback and a rather chaotic situation going on in Cleveland, but the teams seem to have worked their way around it. I think the Browns are a 3.5-point favorite because of injury problems with Buffalo. Both starting running back C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson are suffering from rather severe ankle and knee injuries. Spiller is a game-time decision. I think that Jackson does intend to play, but both of them are hurting, and they're not going to be as effective as they were last week when they combined for 164 yards. And I think the Bills are going to need them tonight because the league is caught up with rookie E.J. Manuel, who threw for, I think, 174 yards last week, had a touchdown, an interception, a fumble, and seemed to be very indecisive in what he was doing. So I think that Cleveland merits to be a 3.5-point favorite. Whether they can do it remains to be seen, but I will be releasing this game at the 25-unit level. Now, the 3 college games. Texas is at Iowa State. Texas is an 8.5-point favorite with a total of 56.5. two factors play into this, I think. The Longhorns will be without starting quarterback David Ash. He's out with a concussion. He shouldn't have played the first half against Kansas State last week, but he did. But there's also a hidden element in this ball game. Now, Texas, an 8.5-point favorite. Whether they merit that, I don't have any idea. They've been buried by a couple of teams already this season. I don't know whether Iowa State can do that. But keep in mind that Texas plays the game that will save or lose Coach Mac Brown's job next week when they meet Oklahoma in their traditional battle in Dallas. Could this be a look-ahead game for Texas? Will they back off late and just be content to win and not worry about the margin or whatever? There's a lot of elements that need to be looked at in this game. It's also interesting to know that these teams have met 10 times. Texas is 9-1 in those games. And it's also important to understand that for whatever the reason, Iowa State is 0-10 in its last 10 Big 12 openers. UCLA at Utah. I've got UCLA ranked in my top 10, but I got to be honest with you, they need to step up and really play well tonight to stay there. UCLA opened at a -4, they're now -6, a total of 60.5. UCLA has beaten a bad Nevada team 58-20, won at Nebraska 41-21 against the most overrated team in the country. And they buried New Mexico State 58-13, but everybody buries New Mexico State. Now they go into Salt Lake City and have to play in that mile-high altitude of thin air, which destroys a lot of visiting teams in the second half. And Utah doesn't lay down for anybody. I realize that they got in an offensive shootout with Oregon State and got beat, but this is a team that's going to test UCLA. You can take that to the bank. Whether they can stop the explosive offense of the Bruins remains to be seen. But once again, this game is you've got to look deep and hard to find the edges that will win the cover in this one. Western Kentucky at Louisiana Monroe. Once again, this was probably the hottest betting game on the board thus far this week. Western Kentucky opened -4. They're out to -7. That's primarily because Monroe will be without starting quarterback Colton Browning. Suffered a severe quad injury, out for the season. Once again, I would have definitely laid the 7 in this game. I'm not so sure I'll lay the 7 even with Browning out. Monroe is not a weak football team as far as the depth chart goes, and they're going to come up with a game plan that'll be competitive. And it's as I look at these games tonight, I found winning edges in every single one of them, and I just believe that I will take down the cash. So tonight, one of the college games will be a 50-unit play. The NFL game, the Bills at the Browns, will be a 25-unit play, and Best Bet Club players will receive a 10-unit play on one of the remaining 2 games. Keep in mind that Thursday night launches a big football week. On Saturday, it's going to be a 100-unit play, my 100-unit college football game of the week. On Sunday, my 100-unit NFL game of the week, and I intend to get the money in both of them. There are many options for bettors, very attractive options on both Saturday and Sunday. Very confident that we'll have a big weekend. Now let me leave you with this thought from Murray Warmoth, the late Minnesota coach, the late great, I should say, Minnesota coach, who was having a bad season, and someone said, Coach, what stands out about this season? He says, well, if lessons are learned in defeat, our team is sure as hell getting a great education this season.